right, so we laid out a drawing using Sol View, Sol Draw. All right, and we've got our model in model space. And that's kind of the old way of doing things. The new way, I'm going to jump over to B Landscape. And same thing, I'm going to delete my viewport. Where is it here? There it is. Delete my viewport and kind of start from scratch. Okay. Now the easy way, or the more current way, is to use the Layout tab up in the ribbon. All right. So under the Layout tab, we've got some interesting choices here. But the first thing we want to do is select a base view. Okay. And when we select base view, we've got two options. We've got the option from Model Space or an option from Inventor. Well, we're not using Inventor, so our only option realistically is to choose from Model Space. Now, when we choose from Model Space, it might take a while to load in your part depending on how complex it is. Okay, but we kind of do the same thing. Specify a location of the base view. Now, we can always change this if we need to. And before I'm going to place it, before I left click, I want to bring your attention up here to the orientation. All right, because I can change the orientation of what I'm looking at. Now, your base view should always be kind of this anchor point. Okay, and basically whatever your first click is, you want to be efficient with the rest of your moves. So with my first click should be a front view. Okay, it's kind of considered a parent view. So front view is chosen in my orientation. I'm going to left click to place my object, and then I'm going to hit exit. And then when I move my mouse, you'll see that it's projecting wherever I move my mouse the appropriate views. So if I move my mouse around in a clockwise fashion, you'll see the proper views coming into play. All right, so this is why it's important to get your base view down first, because from that base view, you can then create additional views in one shot. So I'm going to drag my mouse up, left click to place my top view. Drag my mouse over to the right, left click to place my right view. Drag my mouse up into the upper right hand corner, left click to place my isometric view. That's all that I need. So now I'm going to hit enter, and it automatically creates my views for me. Okay, so super easy, super quick. The one thing that you do have to watch out for sometimes is to make sure that it's giving us the correct projections. All right, what do I mean by that? Under styles and standards, all right, there is a little justification arrow or a styles arrow. And in here, we can choose certain things. For instance, the thread style. All right, what's the threading going to look like? From a front view or a side view. But this is the more important thing. Are we projecting in first angle or third angle? Okay, so remember, in the United States, we are always projecting third angle projection. All right, so this should always be checked on. If you use first angle projection, it's going to orient things upside down and backwards. All right, so you want to make sure that your third angle projection is always on, and then just click OK. Then you can go in and do the same thing. Add in your center lines. Use the dim command to add in your dimensions, and you've got yourself a proper drawing. All right, you can go back if you left click into this. There is a little drop down arrow so that if you needed to rescale, it is possible to rescale. This is a child view, okay, meaning it was the second view that I had placed on my drawing, so therefore I just made it independent. All right, I'm going to bring it back down 1 to 1. If I click my parent view is always the first item that I place. If I change the scale for my parent view, all of my views, well, this one I already made independent, all of my views change based on the parent view. Okay, so I got to go back up into this one and say from parent, and it's going to match whatever the parent view is. Okay, so again, parent view is your first placed part, and the child views are any part or any placement after that. Okay, usually you want to control everything by the parent, right? Just like in real life, the parent tells the children what to do, and they're supposed to do it. Okay. Aside from that, other than scale, all right, you have the little grips, so you can always readjust where some of these elements lie. Again, based on if you're moving the parent view or a child view. And going back to the layout tab, right, I can go in and create additional views if I need to. I can add details. I can add section views. I can add more projected views if I made a mistake. So in other words, I can click on projected and say, yeah, you know, maybe I need a bottom view. I'm going to select my parent view, drag it down below, hit enter, and if I need that bottom view, I've got a bottom view. Okay. Section view. Good question. So section view I'm going to use on this drawing here. Drop down gives you options, right? Do I have a full, a half, an offset, or an aligned, or something from the object? So full section view, select the parent view, okay, or the view that you want to use. I'm going to click on this. Now specify a start point. This is the only bad thing. It doesn't really give you a proper placement, but you want to try to get, you can probably use your snaps. Okay, so there's my O snap for midpoint, and I want to carefully move up, left click, drag down. Remember, go outside of the part, left click. Okay, from there, it immediately gives me a model that shows me a section view. And you'll notice that as I move my model, the arrows are pointing in the proper direction. Okay, so I'm going to left click out here just because I don't have room here. Left click and hit exit. And it creates my section, it creates my label, and the scale. Add my center line, and I would be done with this. And that is the basics of the advanced layout. Okay, details are somewhat similar. If I wanted a rectangular or circular detail of a particular view, I can go in here and say, all right, well, I need a detail view of my section. So I left click on it, specify a center point. This is going to give me a radius. Left click, and again, I can pull out that particular detail. If I need to change the scale, I can change the scale, enter the scale. Right now they doubled it. It was at 2 to 1. They doubled it to 4 to 1. I'm going to say, no, I want it a lot bigger, 8 to 1. Hit exit, and now I've created a detail view of my section view. All right, so I'm kind of walking it down step by step. Maybe there's some really small details in here that I need to dimension. Okay, again, labels included and the scale is inserted.